Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more fascinating history and science stories. Imagine digging in the earth and uncovering a human scalone with a near-perfect hole above the eye socket. The edges are smooth, showing the bone grew back. This person survived. This isn't the mark of violence or accident. It's deliberate. It's surgery. Who dared to cut into a living skull thousands of years ago? What drove them to such extremes? We often picture our ancestors as superstitious, but this skull tells a different story. It speaks of knowledge, courage, and a universal desire to heal. This object challenges our assumptions about the past. It reveals a world where medicine was already complex and daring. The whole is a testament to compassion's desperate attempt to save a life. Someone saw suffering and intervened in the most radical way imaginable. This is the story of trepanation, prehistoric brain surgery. Not a one-off, not a bizarre ritual. This was a global medical procedure, the oldest we know. Evidence is scattered across continents and time, whispering of a shared human impulse to confront illness. With little more than sharpened stones and immense bravery, our ancestors faced the unknown. This skull is just the first page of an incredible and often terrifying chapter in the history of medicine. The story begins here with a hole in the head and a question that echoes through time. Trepanation is the act of intentionally drilling or cutting a hole into the skull of a living person. The goal: to expose the brain's outer membrane without damaging it. The term comes from the Greek trepanon, a drill. Modern neurosurgery has its roots here. The earliest confirmed examples date back over 10,000 years to the Neolithic period. At a time when humans were just settling down, they were already performing brain surgery. This predates the pyramids, writing, and empires. Archaeologists look for telltale marks and, crucially, signs of healing proof the patient survived. These discoveries rewrite our understanding of prehistoric people. They were not passive victims, but active agents in their own healthcare. Trepanation is not just a curiosity. It's a profound statement about the dawn of medical science. It marks the beginning of humanity's quest to heal. Trepanation was a global phenomenon, found from Siberia to North Africa, Europe to the Andes. It crossed cultures and continents, either discovered independently or spread through ancient networks. In Neolithic France, skulls show multiple trepanations with clear signs of healing evidence of survival. At one site, a third of the skulls were trepaned, making it seem almost routine. The practice continued through the Bronze and Iron Ages. In Çatalhöyük, Turkey, evidence dates back over 8,000 years. Hippocrates described the procedure in ancient Greece, moving it from ritual to rational medicine. The Incas and their predecessors in Peru became masters of the craft. Over 2,000 years, they developed trepanation into a surgical art. More trepaned skulls have been found in Peru than anywhere else, over 1,000 specimens. These skulls show a variety of techniques and a record of success unmatched until modern times. Trepanation was not a fringe practice, it was a cornerstone of ancient medicine. Its legacy is written in bone across the world. Why drill a hole in the head? The reasons were complex, spiritual, and practical. Illness was often seen as supernatural. Trepanation could be an exorcism, a way to let evil spirits escape. Sometimes the removed bone was worn as an amulet believed to hold protective powers, but there's clear evidence of medical reasoning too. Many skulls show pre-existing fractures, injuries from violence or accidents. Surgery was performed to clean wounds, remove bone fragments, or relieve pressure, just as trauma surgeons do today. Chronic headaches, infections, or neurological disorders may have also prompted the procedure. Our ancestors observed, deduced, and intervened not just to release demons, but to cure disease. Ancient surgeons used what they had: flint, obsidian, and later bronze. Flint could be knapped into sharp knives and scrapers. Obsidian was sharper than steel. Archaeologists have found complete surgical kits with tools for every stage of the operation. As metalworking advanced, bronze knives and specialized drills called trephines appeared. The trephine, with its circular, serrated edge, allowed for faster, cleaner cuts. Different cultures developed distinct techniques: scraping, grooving, drilling, each leaving characteristic marks. These were not crude tools, but purpose-built instruments requiring skill and precision. The evolution of tools mirrored the evolution of surgical knowledge. Each method represented a tradition, passed down and refined. The procedure was an ordeal. Without anesthesia, patients were restrained by force or straps. The surgeon cut away the scalp, exposing bone. Using flint or obsidian, they scraped or cut, layer by layer, sometimes for hours. The safest method was slow scraping. Grooving and drilling were faster but riskier. Once the hole was made, the surgeon treated the injury, setting fractures, cleaning wounds, or relieving pressure. The scalp was stitched back, the wound dressed with leaves, moss, or fat. Recovery was the most dangerous phase. Survival depended on luck and resilience. Every operation was a gamble, but many survived. The courage of both patient and surgeon is hard to fathom. How did patients endure the pain? The scalp and membrane are sensitive, but the skull and brain have no nerves. After the initial agony, scraping the bone was painless, though the sensation must have been terrifying. Ancient healers used local plant skoka leaves, opium, mandrake, cannabis, or alcohol to dull pain. Trance states, chanting, or drumming may have helped. The greatest threat was infection. Without antibiotics, an open head wound was deadly. Some used alcohol, vinegar, honey, or even mold as primitive antiseptics. The fact that so many survived speaks to both skill and luck. The real surprise is how often trepanation worked. Healed skulls show smooth edges and new bone growth, proof of survival. In Neolithic Europe, survival rates were around 50%. That's astonishing for Stone Age surgery. Some skulls show multiple attempt evidence of learning and perseverance. These are the first lab notes of medical science observation, trial, and improvement. Some individuals underwent the procedure more than once, showing both resilience and trust in the method. Trepanation was not a last resort, it was a trusted treatment. No culture mastered trepanation like the Incas. The number and quality of trepan skulls in Peru is unmatched. Inca surgeons achieved survival rates of 75 to 90%, far higher than Neolithic Europe. They perfected their methods using circular trephines and precise anatomical knowledge. They avoided major blood vessels and fragile sutures, showing real understanding of the skull. Their patients often thrived after surgery. By comparison, Civil War-era surgeons had much lower survival rates for head wounds. Inca brain surgery was safer than 19th century battlefield medicine. Their achievements were the result of centuries of refinement. The Incas set a gold standard in prehistoric neurosurgery. Trepanation's history is one of constant improvement. Comparing skulls across time, we see a timeline of innovation. Early scraping was safe but slow. Grooving and drilling were faster but riskier. Failures left cracks and punctures, but surgeons learned from mistakes. The Incas represent the pinnacle combining precision, anatomical knowledge, and specialized tools. They avoided danger zones like the superior sagittal sinus, showing advanced understanding. Over time, holes became larger and more confident. Specialized tools like the trephine standardized the procedure. High success rates were no accident, they were the result of generations of learning. Trepanation evolved from tentative experiment to trusted science. The gulf between ancient and modern brain surgery isn't as wide as it seems. Modern craniotomy is the direct descendant of trepanation. The goal remains: access the brain to heal. The courage and innovation of those first surgeons laid the foundation for all that followed. Their work established that the skull could be breached to treat illness. Today, we treat the same conditions: head injuries, seizures, tumors with surgery. The story of trepanation is not one of savagery, but of sophistication, courage, and compassion. The ancient skulls with their deliberate holes mark the dawn of medicine and the enduring human drive to heal. If you enjoyed this journey through ancient medicine, like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from history.